The story begins in a cursed house where heavy clouds loom and thunder cracks outside. Inside, the family is having their usual dinner when the youngest son, Yuri, suddenly stands up. He tells his father, politely but firmly, that if he doesn't mind, he can throw him out of the house. Everyone freezes, mostly because no one has ever dared to speak between bites of the sacred roast duck. His father grows furious the moment he hears this. He demands to know what kind of nonsense he is spouting. But our lad stands his ground. His older brother bursts into laughter, mocking him and asking what kind of stories he's trying to tell now. He also reminds him that their family is a well-known noble house, one with ties to the royal bloodline. But Yuri knows what he saw. He's had a vision of the future, one where his entire family is wiped out inside a game called Saint Quest. Yuri knows this world he's been reborn into is a replica of a game he used to play in his past life. And in this world, he's been born as the villain, Yuri, destined to become the final boss of the game. He will one day betray the protagonists and seek revenge, and Yuri remembers every part of it. He also knows that once the game begins, his family, the royal-linked cursed family, will be brutally exposed and sentenced to death by a family of masterminds. As he listens to his brother, Marco's sharp tongue mocking him, he stays silent, already aware of the dark future awaiting them all. Just then, his sister Miranda mocks him, but Yuri only watches her in silence, already imagining her fate, how she too will die in this cruel game, caught in a pathetic struggle. In the end, it will be Yuri, his in-game self, who kills Emelina the Saint, sacrificing his own life to do it. After that, the game will be remembered by a single name, the Gloomy Game. His father suddenly stands, furious, demanding what Yuri means by leaving the house. The atmosphere turns tense. Yuri thinks of his father, Balan Lugsouth, the head of the Lugsouth family, who once stole power from his own brother and now plots to overthrow the country. Yuri knows revealing the truth about the game would backfire, so he carefully lies, saying he wants to gain experience from the outside world to help the family's future. Velan, seething with anger, storms over to Yuri and snaps that even a cockroach like him now wants to contribute to the family. The tension in the room spikes. Their eldest brother, not watching from nearby, smirks and mutters that Yuri's done for. Balan reaches out his hand toward Yuri, saying he never imagined he'd live to see this day. Yuri mentally prepares for death, or worse, a fatherly hug. In that moment, Yuri fears his father might kill him, just like he once executed his own brother. But instead, he taps Yuri's shoulder and says something. To Yuri's surprise, his father shows pride and offers him a piece of land to explore the outside world, saying he must prepare to become a full-fledged lord. Yuri was ready for exile, but he was not ready for real estate. But he thanks him. As he turns to leave, his younger sister Sasha calls out worried. When he asks what's wrong, she says she's just concerned for him. Yuri thinks Sasha Lugsouth, the youngest in the family, is the only kind-hearted one in this house. Sasha is clearly shocked and worried, but she doesn't stop her brother. She respects his decision. Instead, she offers him her moonblade as a token of her protective charm. Yet deep down, he reminds himself that no matter what, she is still part of this family. That night, a servant quietly questions Lord Balan's decision. Why grant such a large piece of land to Yuri? Sipping wine, Balan explains that just like top-shelf wine isn't always good, a noble family's son isn't always worthy either. He says this while drinking something that smells like expired vinegar. He admits he wanted to get rid of Yuri himself, but didn't expect the boy to leave on his own. If Yuri manages to survive on that land, Balan knows he can gain plenty of advantages from him. The next day, Lord Balan writes an official decree appointing Yuri as the Lord of Alf Village, and banishes him from the house. Yuri wonders why, out of all places, he was given this village, and now he must figure out what to do next. The village of Alf is barren, no crops, no resources, no people. Even invaders ignore it. Our lad knows he must build everything from scratch, but all the talented people work under his father. Yuri doesn't know exactly what his father is planning, but he's sure Balan will keep all subordinates loyal to himself. With no other option, Yuri visits a slave shop. The owner greets him warmly, mentioning strong ties with his father. In simple words, he wants to say that please buy something before your dad turns me into soup. A magical contract binds every slave here. They can't leave until it expires. Yuri doesn't see any of this as honorable, but he has no choice. The shopkeeper then begins showing him a few slaves. Inside, he sees 3 slaves standing, their necks and hands bound. The shop owner explains these are the only ones they carefully handpicked. After showing the slaves, the shop owner quietly wonders if Yuri, just a third son, fallen from a noble Lug-South bloodline, can really tell the difference between them. But Yuri senses the owner is hiding something, so he insists on examining them himself. In Saint Quest, every character is granted unique abilities, and Yuri's is called the Appraising Eye. This ability allows him to judge any person on sight, their stats, personality, past, and present. He doesn't want to use it casually, but now he does, and is shocked to see that all the slaves are bound by a contract. When Yuri realizes the slaves are bound by a contract from Lord Balin, he's shocked. He suspects his father arranged this, either to block his progress or to spy on him, and knows the shop owner is in on it. Slamming his hand on the table, Yuri excuses himself, saying these aren't the people he needs, and walks out. The shop owner, stunned, wonders if Yuri actually figured it out, something he believed was impossible. He briefly considers whether he just lost a customer or gained a death wish. Yuri now realizes how hard it is to find people. Everyone's under his father's dark influence. He considers the arrival of a hero party, the only group barely out of Balin's reach. But he knows if he makes even one wrong move, just like in the game, he'll be killed. Yuri shakes his head, thinking he needs someone unlinked to both his father and the hero party. But who? Suddenly, one name comes to mind, Fi. He wants her on his side. In the game, Fi is a beast folk girl enslaved after her mother is killed. With no hope left, she's eventually rescued by the hero. Her character is fated to die in a sub-event. But for Yuri, this is the perfect opportunity. If he can find her before the hero party does, he might change her fate. Now he just has to figure out where she'll appear. Just then, Yuri overhears a group talking. Someone mentions a beast folk being hunted. The moment he hears it, he realizes the event he was just thinking about has already begun. On the other side, a group of men are seen grabbing a beast folk girl, hurting her as she screams for help. One of them smirks, saying her face is pretty cute, yeah, like the ancient philosophy saying flirt while you kidnap. But another reminds him she's just a beast folk, nothing more than subhuman trash. Just then, the girl bites one of them, fighting back with all she has. After the bite, the man cries out in pain, shoves the girl to the ground, and angrily mutters that she could carry the disease. Another man suggests they should just sell her. At that moment Yuri arrives. Stepping forward without hesitation, he looks at the girl and wonders aloud if her name is Fi. The thugs turn to Yuri, demanding to know who he is. Calmly he replies that today is a good day, because he's finally found what he's been searching for. The injured girl looks up at him, confused and wary. One of the thugs suddenly recognizes Yuri, whispering to the other that he's the fallen son of the Lug-South family. That means if they capture him together, they could demand a hefty price from his father. In the game, Yuri's character holds certain abilities he rarely reveals, designed to deceive and mislead others. This time, he taps into his stealth ability, a power that lets him vanish from sight. As the thugs move in closer, Yuri activates it, disappearing before their eyes. It's not magic, it's social anxiety with sparkles. Using his ability, Yuri dashes past them in a blur, swiftly grabs both their weapons, and hurls them far away before they can react. The thugs rush to where Yuri stood, only to find the spot empty, no trace, not even a ripple. Before they can react, Yuri appears behind them, pressing his moonblade to both their necks. Surprise, it's free neck exfoliation, noble style. As the thugs realize they're now at Yuri's mercy, shock and panic spread across their faces. They've been completely caught off guard. Yuri knows his stealth ability isn't just for hiding, it's a combat skill, perfect for targeting enemies' weak spots with precision. Now that both thugs understand he's no runaway, they panic and beg for mercy. But Yuri demands only one thing, a deal. They are never to go near the girl again. The two thugs flee, desperate to save their lives. When Yuri looks back, Fi thanks him, saying that if he hadn't arrived in time, those men could have done something terrible. Yuri, watching her, quietly thinks to himself, maybe this girl isn't so bad after all. Just to be sure, Yuri activates his appraising eye. No contracts, no curses, no hidden agenda. Just raw, unfiltered trauma. Relieved, he confirms the girl has no ties to the hero party or his father. She's safe. A good candidate. Placing a hand on her shoulder, he tells her he wants a favor in return for saving her. He's been looking for someone like her. Fe tenses, blurting out that she won't do anything erotic. Yuri nearly chokes on his dramatic build-up and clarifies, she's misunderstood. He just wants her to be his maid. Skilled, professional. She blinks. Apparently, job interviews are weird everywhere. And just like that, in the strange rhythm of the game, Yuri hires Fi as his maid, his first real step toward becoming a lord. Step 1. Survive. Step 2. Google how to lord. As night falls, our lad brings Fi home and hands her over to the maids, instructing them to clean her up thoroughly with proper care. After the bath, the maids gently treat Fi with kindness and begin taking her measurements for clothing. Yuri enters and asks how far along the progress is. He says it like he's checking on a cake in the oven. Still confused, Fi asks what's going on. Yuri explains the maids are taking her measurements so she can be properly outfitted as his maid. Fi stands like a confused mannequin trying to pass a personality test. The maids quietly giggle, knowing Yuri has a soft spot for beast folk. Fi says it all feels amazing but admits she doesn't know much about his past with noble families. Yuri tells her it's simple. She's a rare individual who perfectly meets his expectations. Inwardly, he knows his father has spies planted all over the city, making Fi the safest option he has right now. Yuri reflects on how carefully he chose Fi. Her character is fated to die later in the game, leaving no room for hidden twists. Meanwhile, Fi feels confused, wondering why she was chosen as a maid when everyone before only saw her as useless. Fi asks if she needs to do anything, but Yuri replies that he's already explained everything to the maids. Just then, a maid arrives and informs him that all preparations are complete. Yuri tells Fi to go with her. This will be her first task. Fi follows and finds a beautifully prepared maid outfit waiting for her. When she puts it on and returns, the first thing she does is apologize to Yuri for being late. She looks stunning in the outfit, and when Yuri asks, she shyly admits it's super cute. Overjoyed, she hugs him tightly and thanks him with a warm smile. She seems genuinely happy, and when Yuri asks what's wrong, she reflects quietly. In this world, many people treat beast folk with cruelty, using them for unspeakable and wild things. But with Yuri, she doesn't feel any of that. He feels completely different. Yuri looks at Fi and calmly says that if she's truly committed now, then it's time. Fi, confused, wonders what he means. Yuri gives her a reassuring look and takes her to a place called the slums, explaining that he can't share details of his work with just anyone. Yuri leads her into the slums, and as they enter, Fi breaks into a nervous sweat. Inside, she sees a rundown room, an old bed, a few candles, and some lewd paintings on the walls. Fi wonders if she accidentally walked into a discount villain lair. Noticing the condition of the place, Yuri suspects even this spot may be under his father's watch. Meanwhile, Fi quietly wonders if Yuri might be like the others who exploit beast folk. Just then, footsteps echo. Yuri asks who's there, and a group of orphan children steps out, cautiously approaching him. Yuri sees the children and tells them to leave. He has important business with Fi, but the kids refuse. One explains his brother hasn't eaten in 2 days. Frustrated, Yuri warns them that if they don't go, he'll be forced to remove them himself. Hearing this, Fi grows even more surprised, realizing Yuri might not just be harsh with beast folk, but even with helpless children. Still, the kids remain stubborn and refuse to listen. Exactly 10 minutes later, Yuri returns with meat for the children. Overjoyed, they eagerly dig in. Fi watches silently, unable to process what she's seeing. As he leaves, Yuri tells the children to keep watch around the area from now on. Hearing his words, Fi grows more anxious. She believes there's no escape and assumes Yuri brought her here for something lewd. As she tries to leave, Yuri grabs her wrist and calmly asks what exactly she was thinking, running off like that. Yuri pins Fi to the wall with both hands, telling her she should be worried. He's about to end this quickly. It's getting romance scene, but smells strongly of miscommunication. Fi, overwhelmed with fear, believes Yuri is about to do something terrible to her, something she hadn't expected. In her panic, she realizes he could harm her badly if that's truly his intent. With no options left, she quietly pleads for him to be gentle. Yuri pauses, silently questioning how his life turned into a bad play. Still calm, tells her not to worry, he won't hurt her. Yuri quietly activates his appraising eye and begins examining her skills. Among them, he notices a dagger skill, low level but present. Surprised by this detail, he begins to think that he should do something about it. He states that his work is done, leaving Fi confused. They haven't done anything immoral. When he questions her strange thinking, she awkwardly says he's an idiot. Yuri calmly reminds her that she's still his maid, and he's her master. After that, Yuri takes her to a weapon shop far outside town. There, he explains that his appraising eye ability is his trump card. Even his father doesn't know about it. Fi asks if things are really that bad between him and his father. In response, Yuri picks up a dagger and hands it to her, saying it matches one of her hidden abilities. Fi is stunned. She didn't even know she had any. Next, she'll find out she's got hidden talents in accounting too. Overwhelmed with joy and surprise, Fi tells Yuri that no one ever saw value in her. Everyone just used her. But Yuri noticed an ability within her. Smiling, she starts practicing with the dagger right there, vowing to make the most of this skill. On the way back from the weapon shop, Fi cheerfully tells Yuri she'll treasure the weapon like a precious gift. Yuri almost tells her it was on sale, but decides to keep the moment dramatic, then reminds her to keep it hidden. Just then, they hear a voice behind them. It's one of the orphan children Yuri had fed earlier. The child tells Yuri a girl is looking for him. When asked who, he says Lady Emelina, a saint. Yuri feels his blood pressure rise faster than the church's donation box. Fi is confused, but Yuri knows Emelina is a powerful magic user working for the church and destined for the hero party. Yuri knows she is dangerous and destined to kill him later. He confirms with the child, who insists he heard correctly. Yuri is shocked. Emelina shouldn't have appeared yet, since the game requires him to meet her first at a specific event. Yuri knows meeting Emelina, or the hero party, now would be disastrous, forcing the game to progress and putting him in danger. He must avoid them, even the main character. The child behind him comments on how creepy Yuri's mumbling sounds. Fi, shivering with unease, admits she doesn't know much but says anyone so intensely interested in Yuri must be important. She'd expect no less of him. Yuri quickly interrupts, telling her they need to leave immediately. Back in town, a large crowd gathers just to catch a glimpse of Lady Saint and to pay their respects. Even one of her servants thinks to herself how popular Lady Emelina is, as usual. She walks through the crowd as many call out to her. Among them, someone signals her to come closer for a handshake. She approaches him and shakes his hand, clearly pleased. Seeing this, the crowd starts making various demands, and she begins striking poses to entertain them all. She strikes like lightning, loud, bright, and completely unnecessary. Emelina's servant urges her to focus on their real mission, but Emelina insists she's here to fulfill wishes and serve the church. The servant mutters to herself that the saints lost a screw. They then discuss a rumor. Someone named Yuri saved a beast folk girl. Suddenly, Emelina snaps at her servant, insisting that Yuri is just a child. They're looking for someone strong, noble, and dangerous. Someone who could threaten a lady saint, the hero party, and the great sage. Emelina declares that, as a saintess, she's decided to make him her partner. Somewhere in the distance, Yuri sneezes and doesn't know why he feels doomed. Her servant sighs, thinking Lady Emelina is back to her usual recklessness again. Yuri thanks the boy who gave him the tip about the saintess. The boy promises he can offer even more valuable tips if Yuri keeps buying him meat. Yuri senses the kid is getting too hooked on it, so he firmly tells him this is the last time. He regrets feeding him once. Now he's unlocked a lifelong subscription. The boy walks up to Yuri, calling him his meat brother, visibly depressed. He pleads with Yuri not to say such things, says he's even willing to lick his shoes if it means the meat won't stop. Fi briefly wonders if this is friendship or a fast track to rabies. In the slums, he explains, kids are starving. Seeing this unfold, Fi immediately feels a wave of sympathy. Yuri tells the kids he's leaving the city soon, so he can't promise them anything. To Fi, he sounds heartless, but Yuri explains he doesn't trust his father, and on top of that, the saint in town is searching for him. That's why, he says, he needs to reach his land as soon as possible. Hearing this, the boy grows visibly upset. As Yuri turns to leave, he tells the boy he can't offer help, but he can point him to a good hunting ground. He adds that the boy should gather all the brats and bring them there. The boy runs off to gather his friends. Fi asks why Master Yuri changed his mind when he was in such a hurry. Yuri responds that he just doesn't want the kids to feel abandoned or grow up resenting him. When they return, he quietly leads them into the forest. He shows them a hidden spot, explaining it's home to low-level monsters they can easily hunt. The kids are surprised they never knew about this place. Yuri tells them they better start looking for tonight's dinner. The kids scatter through the area, running in every direction in search of meat. It looks like a field trip gone horribly primal. One shouts he caught something, then another echoes the same. Watching them enjoy it so much, Fi asks Yuri if she can join too. Yuri nods and says she can go. Yuri thinks to himself that these kids won't have to stay hungry anymore. At the same time, he wonders if he can escape Emelina, then everything might still go according to plan. Just then, he hears a woman's voice. She's clearly surprised to find so many children in the forest. She steps out from behind a tree, asking what kind of event is going on here. Yuri stares in shock, wondering if this is really Saint Emelina, and how she managed to find his exact location. She suddenly approaches and asks if he's Yuri Lugsouth from the Lugsouth family. Yuri knows that if he's caught now, everything will start unfolding according to the game. He decides to play dumb and tells her he has no idea who that is. He lies so casually, even the tree behind him looks impressed. Lady Saint looks surprised and starts questioning the other kids' identities. Sensing trouble, he tries to slip away, but she stops him and asks what he's doing. He claims he just showed them a hunting ground. Yuri explains he brought the kids here so they could hunt on their own, since orphans like them struggle in the city. Lady Emelina blushes at this, surprised. As Yuri turns to leave, she grabs his hand, stands aside like he is forced to confess sins he hasn't committed yet, but then notes that he's admirable. She's happy she didn't find Yuri, but instead met someone with such a kind heart, helping poor kids. He keeps insisting on leaving when Fi suddenly calls out from afar, excitedly announcing she caught a rabbit. Internally, he's screaming, so much for staying undercover. Realizing the slip, he grabs Fi and bolts, leaving the Lady Saint puzzled, her expression tightening as if she just heard the name Yuri. As he disappears into the trees, he calls back that she must have misheard, hoping distance will do the rest. Lady Saint accepts that she may have misheard, and Yuri silently thanks the skies for how dumb she is, but he also knows he needs to get far away now. Just then, she stomps the ground, thinks for a second, and in a flash appears right in front of him. He freezes, stunned. How did she clear that distance in a single dash? Yuri realizes she doesn't walk. She teleports via plot demands. She asks where he thinks he's running off to. Yuri already knows Lady Saint is a twisted monster. Just then, she tells him that if he doesn't mind, she'd like to talk a bit more. Before he can answer, a loud scream suddenly echoes through the forest. They turn to see a massive forest guardian, ready to strike the kids. Shock spreads. Lady Saint asks why it's here. Yuri thinks this forest usually has small monsters, but when a high-status character arrives, big ones like this tend to appear. Yuri knows the monster is here because of Emelina. Her status and level are too high. As the monster moves to attack the kids, she instantly dashes forward and reaches it just in time. She suddenly appears behind the monster, calling out for it to back off from the child, that its target isn't the kid, but her. Watching Lady Saint step up to face the monster, Fi looks on, clearly impressed. Seeing an opening, Yuri tells Fi they need to run now. Fi is shocked, asks how he can just leave her behind. Yuri asserts that she needs to understand something. He explains that, as she can see, Lady Emelina is a dangerous, broken character with monstrous strength, and on top of that, she's a healer. Fi watches as Emelina takes on the monster alone. Yuri quickly orders her to move. They need to leave now. Meanwhile, Emelina defeats the monster with overwhelming force. The monster collapses to the ground. Emelina walks over to the kids and asks if they're okay. The kids cheerfully thank her, and even Fi looks amazed. Just as the duo begins to slip away, another loud roar echoes through the forest. Within seconds, another forest guardian appears and strikes Emelina with a powerful claw, sending her flying. Everyone stands stunned. No one expected a second monster to show up. Yuri wonders if these monsters are on a shift rotation. A child runs to Emelina and asks if she's okay. She tells him not to worry. He starts to suspect this woman could survive a building collapse with a smile. But deep inside, Emelina knows the wound is serious, so deep she can't even get up. They see the monster charging toward them. The child panics, frozen in fear, while Emelina knows her healing magic won't activate in time. Just as the monster lunges at the child, Yuri, watching from a distance, suddenly rushes forward. He decides it's time to end this and activates his hidden kill assassination. Within a second, with a single throw, he strikes the monster's eye with his dagger, damaging it instantly. Somewhere in the heavens, a game developer claps softly. He moves in closer, fully ready to face the monster. With a powerful strike, he deals solid damage. After the hit, he sees the monster now reeling in pain. He then walks over to Emelina and mentions that if her healing magic is done, he hates to say it, but she has to handle the rest. She nods and moves into position to cast her spell. A powerful, thunderous thousand-cross spell erupts, flooding the area with lightning and blinding light as it strikes the monster. Yuri blinks through the light and swears he just saw his eyebrows fly off. Her magic is so overwhelming, the monster begins to fade, dissolving from a raging beast into nothing but ash. With the battle over, Emelina stands tall, radiating confidence. Everyone watches in stunned silence, even Yuri. He always knew she was broken in some way, but her strength has far surpassed anything he imagined. It's clear now, she is terrifying. After the fight, Emelina expresses her gratitude for him protecting the children while she was healing. With nothing left to do, Yuri turns to leave, walking off with Fi. But just as they begin to go, Emelina grabs his hand. She stops him in his tracks, saying she doesn't care if he's Yuri or not. All she wants is someone who holds the one key to joining the hero party. The words strike him hard. He freezes, because this moment, it's scripted. A part of the game he's been desperately trying to avoid. Panic rising, he pulls back, but in the scramble, his other hand lands directly on Emelina. Both stand frozen, faces reddening by the second. She erupts in fury, demanding to know what he's doing. Flustered, Yuri insists it was an accident. He mentally files this under top 10 moments that will haunt me forever and quickly urges her not to make things worse. Emelina, still flustered and growing suspicious, accuses him of doing it on purpose, wanting her to hate him. Anything to stop being dragged deeper into the game. He admits it was intentional. Her glare sharpens. She calls him a piece of trash. Off to the side, Fi shifts uncomfortably. After a tense pause, Emelina lowers her gaze and admits she only approached him because she's looking for someone to join her party. That's all. Nothing else. The confession unsettles Yuri. If he says yes, his family's secret risks exposure. As she turns to leave, Emelina makes it clear she'll go straight to the Lug South estate herself to extend the invitation. The fear that hits Yuri is the exact kind reserved for hearing mother-in-law is coming. Hours later, Yuri is speeding off with Fi in a carriage, heading straight for his territory. Fi voices concern over leaving the children behind, but he reflects that they're not involved in the game anymore. They'll be fine, unless one of them unlocks a hidden boss fight, which is unlikely. Besides, he's already resolved their arc. If he hadn't, the kids would have eventually triggered a deadly chain event known as the Great Insurrection of the Orphans. He saved them from that fate. Under his breath, he mumbles about turning down the invitation, though doubt lingers. How long can you really keep running? Fi watches him quietly, puzzled by the tension beneath his calm. Yuri's resolve hardens. He'll crash through every death flag, break free from every noose tightening around his life. There's no turning back. They're heading for his land now, and he needs to stay focused. As they near Yuri's piece of land, Faye notices something odd. He seems troubled. When she approaches, she sees him casting magic over his food. Curious, she asks what he's doing. Yuri explains he's trying to combine ice and water magic to refrigerate his meal and keep it safe. Yuri swears this makes him a magical Michelin chef. Fi, however, finds everything he's saying completely weird. She steps closer and mentions she wants to practice too. In response, he uses earth magic to create several training knives for her. She playfully thanks him, and now both of them focus on their own tasks. Then from the moving carriage window, Fi starts throwing the knives, but none of her shots land where they should. If missing were a sport, Fi is already a national champion. Still, she keeps trying again and again. She slumps in frustration, nearly in tears. None of her knives hit the target. But the forest now contains at least 6 slightly stabbed trees. Yuri figures the moving carriage is making it harder. Meanwhile, he's created enough ice to keep his food chilled. Just then, Faye notices something strange outside. Even the training knives look disappointed in her. They both look out of the carriage and see a group of thugs harassing a family. Their leader pins a woman to the ground while her father shouts for him to stay away. The other thugs ask what to do, and the leader points out the family looks wealthy, so anyone who gets in their way should be killed. Hearing this, Fi is horrified, and as the thugs begin attacking, Yuri realizes it's time for him to step in. Yuri gestures to Fi, noting the family's wealth. They'll surely intervene. With a sly grin, he adds they might as well take something valuable in return. Fi quickly sees it. His mindset isn't so different from the thugs. They watch as the thug leader orders his men to spare the women and kill all the men. Yuri, still seated on the carriage, makes a dramatic hero entry, calling out that something shady seems to be going on here. As the thugs turn to ask who he is, Yuri replies that it looks like they need to cool their hands a bit. He combines his ice and water magic to summon ice meteors and hurls them down on the thugs. Somewhere, a weather spirit files a complaint for copyright. One by one, the thugs collapse to the ground, heavily damaged. Yuri steps down from the carriage, thinking he wrapped this up much faster than expected. He mentally gives special thanks to his magic training. Everyone feels a bit of relief, but the thug leader panics. If Yuri defeated his men so easily, he could be next. Thinking quickly, he grabs the victim's daughter and holds the sword to her neck, warning that if Yuri moves even slightly, he'll kill her. Yuri calmly asks if he's sure, because he might be messing with the wrong guy. The thug, even angrier, shouts that yes, he's talking to him. Just as the thug finishes his line, a knife flies in from a distance and lands straight on his hand, forcing him to release the girl. When he turns to look, he sees the knife was thrown from the carriage by Fi. It finally lands exactly where it should, and the moment fills her with quiet joy. Fe now believes the knife loves her back. Fe jumps with joy, while Yuri thinks about how careless the thug was, not noticing she'd been aiming for a while. He knows the moving carriage threw her off earlier, but now she's adapted. Confident she's fine, Yuri focuses on the rest. He combines water and wind magic to form a sword in his hand, then strikes the thug. Within seconds, the fight is over. The thug drops to the ground. Yuri stands tall in heroic pose as the victims of the thugs cheer, deeply grateful and full of admiration. Yuri sees their carriage and realizes they're merchants. Hoping to build useful ties, he offers to guide them safely through the next stretch. When he asks if thugs show up often, the merchant says he'd heard warnings about bandits and the Lugsal family before coming. Both are feared here. Hearing his family's name, Yuri is stunned. The merchant adds that the Lugsal family now controls the area and acts as they please. They are literally utter scumbags to him. Yuri is slightly surprised, but Fi walks up, and he pats her for the great throw. As they leave, the merchant asks his name to thank him. Just as Yuri begins to answer, Fi playfully cuts in, saying he should give his full name, Yuri Lugsal, an incredible person. The merchants freeze, then drop to their knees, praising him in fear. Yuri wanted allies, not a cult initiation. He sighs, realizing Fi just messed everything up. He adds public relations to the growing list of things she's banned from. He wanted strong ties, now he has no idea how things will play out. Meanwhile, in the Lugsal family estate, Yuri's father tells his servant he doubts Yuri can reach the beast kin without buying a slave. The servant counters, saying he believes Yuri might still manage it. Balin then wonders if Yuri has somehow figured out his plans. The servant replies he's giving Yuri too much credit. He doesn't think the lad is capable of that, but Yuri's father insists they should play it safe on their end. He orders to murder of everyone in his son's land along with him.
Here I am,